All right, I'm just going to do a quick overview and installation process of Softopper's truck bed topper. In my opinion, this is one of the most functional bed toppers you can get, more than a hard shell cover and a tonneau cover. For what it is and how many pieces there are, it is a super simple installation, but I know how some people, they can follow instructions better if they can see it with their eyes instead of just following it on paper. And so this is everything you're going to get in the box. You've obviously got the canvas topper, and I've been sitting out in the sun because I chose the worst day to do this. You kind of want to do this on a warm day, or this canvas is going to be hard to stretch out when you're first installing it. And so I've been keeping it in the sun for a few hours. And so obviously in the box, you're going to get the canvas, you're going to get the instructions, you're going to have some tent seam sealant. Once you got it installed, you'll do that. Everything from the clamps, everything you'll need to clamp it down, the bed rails, the rails that the canvas will set on, snap on, and then the rest of the rails. So the first thing you're going to want to have to do is put the bed rails together. And again, they're super easy to do. Just make sure to grab the ones that fit together right, and they're labeled. They have the driver that says the driver side front, and so all you gotta do is put these two rails together just like so. And like I said, this one said the driver side front, so we'll bring it over here and it goes on the rail. Now it says you want to make it a 1/2 inch to the inside of the bed rail and flush with the inside of the cab. Repeat the process on the other side. Now it does have weather stripping on the bottom of these. I'm not going to take this off to where it sticks on there quite yet, because I'm actually going to get some caps to cover these holes. That way whenever it sits on there, it's nice and has something to stick to, other than kind of leaving that off right there. And so the next step is you get the clamps, and depending on what model year truck you have and what brand you have, the clamps are different. On the 19 to 21 Silverados, you have the utility, what they call the utility clamps, and it takes a 9/16 socket. And when you put it on there, you just want to make sure that it's all the way in there flush. That way the bed rails do not sit uneven, so it's not going like pointing inward or outward. So the center caps I was getting for these holes right here to fill it in so it would stick better to the bed rails came in a little earlier, so I'd go ahead and show y'all how difficult it was to put these in. And so I ordered these off of Amazon, and they kind of seem like they're 3D printed, but they look sturdy enough to where they're going to last a few years. But this is the installation. You literally just pop it in, take your hand, and it fits really nice and flush. So I mean, it's super nice. And so those are the center caps I got, and I'll put the link in the description for those center caps. So when you do these clamps, again, you just want to make sure it's seated all the way flush with the side, and then also like it's all the way up and in. And so like I just push it up and I just hand tighten it, and I don't crank it all the way down until I get the second one on. And they tell you want to do it 10 to 13 inches away from the top, and then also from the other side. And so when you do it, I would just hand tighten it, make sure it's that 1/2 inch from the inside of the bed rail, and just do it on the other side also. You don't want to tighten them too tight, just because these bars are aluminum and they will bend. And so just a good snug will make it just fine. All right, the next step is to find the cross members, and they're super easy to put together. You don't have to figure out which one goes to which, because they've helped you out at Softopper, and they've kind of color coordinated each bar. And so you've got the black marker, you've got green, blue, and they've got it red. And so all you got to do is find this bracket here and then find a matching color. And so here's the black one right here, and they literally just push together. And so you get it. Wiggle it on there. So it's easy as to kind of stand it up, find which color, and kind of wiggle it on there. can tell which one goes to the cab of the truck is you've got the caps right here that this canvas will wrap around and button right there, and so that goes to the cab of the truck, and this will go to the other end. The next step is just connecting them to these two little push rods right here. So all you're going to have to do is take out this ring on both sides so that you can push it into the cross members. So once you have those out, you can bring it up on the truck and place it on. Easiest way I found is putting it together. Make sure you're not pinching any of the straps when you're doing that. I just wanted to show real quick those clips once they're in and where they're located. They're just at the bottom of these frames, and you just poke it through. And it can be a nuisance to get these through because they do give a little bit. And so once you get it through, you just put those rings through on both sides, and it'll stand up. And the next thing you do is put the canvas on. Now you do want to check and make sure before you put the canvas on that when you lay it all the way down, it lays kind of flush with the end of this bed rail. You want to make sure it's not hitting up top on your cab or the window or anything. And so luckily I did this where it needed to be. As long as you keep these rails flush with the end of the bed, then it should work fine and you shouldn't have any issues. But you do just want to make sure it lays all the way down. So when installing the canvas, what you're going to want to do is, I had these rails all the way by the bed of the truck and the cab. You're going to have to flip them over, and then where your tailgate is hanging down, and then you need to find the end of the canvas. And so you just lay it flat with the bottom down, the top up, and with that laying down, you have these caps at the end with buttons. And so all you're going to have to do is button these buttons, and they'll just snap on. And I will say, if you're doing this on a cold day, this is going to be your hardest part because this canvas is not going to want to stretch. And once you snap them on, all you got to do is flip it back up and over the rails. All right, once you have the topper all the way up, the next step you're going to want to have to do is get this, not this flap right here, but there's a flap right there, and then just tuck it in between the cab and the bed. Make sure it's in there all the way, and all these flaps right here are out. And then also, before you start cinching everything up and snapping everything else, you're going to make sure that all of your snaps up here are still snapped. I had one that had snapped off, so make sure that's on there nice and secure when you're doing that. All right, one of the other steps I almost forgot is you're gonna have to put these brackets on here. All it takes is 2 screws that come with it, and you put that on, and make sure you do the right driver's side and the passenger side. I would wait to screw this in tight because you're gonna wanna do some adjustments for this back bar and how it lays in the back. And so once you've got those on, you can take this hook and hook it on. Same thing with the other side. Just take this and hook it on. And so once they're hooked on, you've got your topper basically on. And so the next step is just snapping down the sides. And again, if this is on a cool day like I did today, it's going to be a little bit harder. And that's why I had, at the beginning of this video, I had it sitting out in the sun for a few hours to kind of help stretch out this canvas. So the easiest way to do this is start at the back snap and go to the front one and then work your way into the middle. Just like that. And then I would wait to put this on also. I would wait to Velcro that until you get the other side done. And you just repeat the process on this other side. Oh, hardest part. Holy cow. My goodness. Okay, and there you go. It took me about 8 tries, but it's always that once you do that one side, it's fairly easy. But when you go to do this second side the first time, holy cow, it is hard to get on. And so there you go. You have it on, and next, all you're going to do is you're going to put this rear window bar piece in, and then you're going to want to adjust these brackets right here. Again, depending on what truck model you have and everything like that. And so I will say, when you're doing the straps, you don't want them extremely tight, just like a little snug. And just do it evenly. You don't want one side more snug than the other, because your topper is going to be wrinkled. It's going to look weird. All right, with the rear window bar, it's super easy. Again, they just snap together here, and then you just fish it through the flap in the back. And then once you have it through, they just connect right there. And again, mine's not very tight, just so I can do some adjustment. And you've got a snap right here. You just snap them together. And voila, your topper is together, and now you can do the adjustments. One of the other things they tell you you could do just to keep the front from flapping is they send some of these other snaps that screw into the bed of your truck. Now, you don't have to use these if you don't want to. Again, in my experience, I've used these. They work well. If you don't want to drill into the back of your truck, then there is Velcro that they have packaged in with it. But I will say, with some of these spray-in bed liners, that Velcro is not going to stick very well. And so you can just do what you want. I think the snaps work well. And then one of the last things you're going to want to do is they send you some of this tent seam sealant. And all you're going to do is get this brush, and then you're going to go around the inside of the seams. Everywhere you see a seam, you're just going to make a line all the way down the seam with this seam sealant. And I'll say, I had one of these on my 2006 Silverado. The only time I ever saw leaking inside this truck was when it was coming through these straps here. And so when you're going around these seams, make sure you I would put extra around here, because what happens is it doesn't come through the seam or anything, but on the outside it comes through this strap, and it kind of saturates it, and it'll drip down through it. So make sure you put a lot, kind of like right here and right here, around all of these buckle straps. And if you do that, I'm telling you, zero water will get into this. And there you have it. That is the installation of Softopper's truck bed topper. And so again, the hardest part is putting it on canvas, especially in a cold day, but on a warmer day it's not as bad. And so to me, this is one of the best things most functional bed toppers, tonneau cover, hard shell, soft shell, whatever it may be, that I believe is the best. There's pros and cons to it, and I'll go over that in a second. I will say they're a little pricey. They're not as expensive as hard shell, but they do go more for some of the cheaper tonneau covers. Now, for some of the more durable tonneau covers, it's about that same price range. But I will say I got this on a deal on Facebook Marketplace. I'm all about getting deals, and so I got this pretty much at a steal just because someone ordered the wrong one from someone else, and so I lucked out and found them on Facebook before someone else did. And so here in the back, they included some Velcro that you can put in, and so I really don't want to put it on the paint, and so I'm going to get a strip of Velcro, and I'm going to put it on the tailgate, that kind of that black plastic piece trim part, and I'll do that just to keep it from flapping. So I want to start off with some cons. Let's start off with the bad news first, if there really is any. To me, there's not really much. The number one main issue that people have with these is that it's a soft topper. There's not much security with these things. It's not going to take much for anybody to break into your truck if you have something valuable back there. A lot of times you see guys where people will just come and they'll just slash the side of their soft topper, which is idiotic because you've got the flap here and it's not that hard to take down. Even if the tailgate's locked, you can still get into this. And so that's the main issue that people have with these, is there's not security with them. What I would say with that is then just don't keep anything valuable in your truck overnight or if you're away from your truck. The other main con I think is with it is the looks. A lot of people don't like the look of these soft toppers. Me personally, I do like it. My wife, on the other, she says it looks like an old man truck once I have it on there. But you know, to each their own. And so I love this. It kind of gives it more of an outdoor look, almost like a military look of those old Humvees with the canvas tops on the back of them. And so to me, I really love the way it looks. But for a lot of people, they're not looking at it. They want that sleek finish, flat tonneau cover look, and which is fine. I just like the functionality of having the bed cap on there more than a tonneau cover. I can fit bigger things and cover bigger things up in the rain, the snow, and whatever it may be. So that's my only two cons I would have with this soft topper. My number one pro for soft toppers is the functionality of it. It is amazing how much you can fit in here, how high it is. Plus, it's so easy to take down when you need to. Now, I can fit a lot in here. I used to put my bikes in here. When we moved a couple years ago, when I had my 06 Silverado, we moved and I had a ton of stuff in the bed of my truck that was covered in the rain because I had this soft topper. We carry our dogs in the back of the truck, and this kind of helps them in the weather, to where, you know, if it's raining, if it is cold, that kind of keeps them protected. And so that's my number one, just the functionality of this, how easily you set it up and put it down, how much you can fit in here to keep dry, because again, zero water gets into this. And so with that being said, a lot of people always ask the question, well, what about, can I take this soft topper through a car wash? And the answer is yes. To one of the touchless car washes. I would not take this to the ones that have the bristles and the brushes. I feel like that would scratch it and mess it up and stuff like that. But for the touchless, I've taken my old one numerous times, and I've heard people taking it through numerous times. And to kind of go along with the versatility, yes, it can handle highway speeds. The only thing is when you're on the interstate, it does kind of like do kind of like a suction thing on the inside, where it kind of like sucks the canvas in to where it's against the bar, so it kind of looks a little weird, but it doesn't mess it up. It doesn't poke holes in it or anything like that. And so that's the other thing, is the versatility. Like it'll handle the speed, it'll handle the snow and everything like that. And so I will say, super cold weather, I've seen guys where this back window will crack like glass. And so this is just plastic, and so it scuffs up easy, it scratches easy, and so you just got to take care of that. But also in the winter, like I said, it's never happened to me, but like, let's say you have it down and you want to fold it up when it's like 10 degrees outside. I've heard of them trying to fold it up and it cracking on them and breaking, which you can buy replacements from Softopper. Just make sure when you are in cold weather that you be aware that this back window can crack and break. And the last thing I wanted to kind of show is one of the reasons why I love this Softopper so much. 90% of the time I'm going to have my Softopper up and on the truck, but sometimes I'm going to have it either laying down or taken completely off. So I wanted to show y'all how easy it is to, like, let's say if you have something really huge to put into the back of your truck, Like let's say if I want to take my four-wheeler somewhere and I want to put it in the back of my truck, obviously it's not going to fit inside of the Softopper, but if I lay it all the way flat, it will. And so I want to show y'all how easy it is and how fast and quickly it's able to do that. Just going to fold it up all the way, and then you're going to go down and just take off the snap. Almost forgot, yeah, take off the bar, and I usually lay that inside of the cab of the truck, but right now I'm just going to put it in the bottom of the truck. Flip that up, unsnap, flip that up, and then just fold it over. And just like that, you have full access to your bed. Now, I kind of folded it down fast, but you just want to make sure when you are folding it down, make sure nothing is being pinched, because it could tear it if it's sitting there too long going down the highway and stuff like that. But like, let's say you want to take it down completely, because again, I could even push this down a little bit more, and it'd be out of the way completely. It doesn't only take, a couple more minutes to take out that pin right there and that pin right there, and it folds out and comes out immediately. And Softopper does sell a boot cover for it when you have it in storage, to keep it from getting dirty and scratched and torn and everything like that. And let's put it up and I'll show you how quickly it goes up. I kept that and it's back up. And so the first configuration that I will show you that a lot of people do is just rolling this back window up. And so you can have everything up and then just roll, kind of get this. And there you go, you have the back window open. And again, if you've got something that's long, maybe some lumber that you need sticking out, and you just want it open, this is how you want to ride it. You just got the back end open. Or if you're like me, you have your dogs in the back. And then also, if it's summer, I usually keep the back open, and then I'll put this side up, just this corner, kind of give some airflow through the entire bed of the truck, and I'll show you how I do that. That way, when it's hot in the summer and I've got a dog back there, they've got some airflow going through. And so you've got this corner up and you've got the back. Now they do say on their website and everything that if you do have a corner or the sides up like that, to make sure you have the back open, because the wind flow or whatever will rip and tear the back canvas more than likely with all that pressure in the back. And then what's also good about just folding it up like that, let's say you've got something near the front of the near the cab of the truck that you need to grab, so you don't have to crawl all the way through the tailgate and everything like that. You could just fold up one side, reach in, grab it, and fold it back down. And this is the other way I've seen guys run their toppers. Now granted, I've never really ran it like this. I don't see a reason to, unless you need full access without dropping it. Guys call this the safari style, but again, I think it's just to kind of show that it's different. And if it's a super hot day, I guess I would run it like this if I had dogs. That way the sun's not beating down on them and they get full access to air in the back of the truck and everything like that. This is why I love this topper, because you can do so many different ways of doing this. You can put it up, put it down, take it off, roll up one side, a corner of it, the back, none of it, whatever it may be. And so there's just so many different configurations you can do with this topper. And the last thing that people usually wonder is if you have an automatic tailgate, does it mess with the tailgate? And the answer is no, it does not. And so obviously if you have it velcroed, then yes it does. Obviously you can put it back up. If you have one that goes up, you can even tuck it under like that, and I've seen guys do that. And so I actually may do that, start off instead of putting the Velcro on. Again, that helps it not flap around if you just tuck it under, and it seems to work fine. So this is money well spent. These soft toppers are Will Belt. They last for years. I had my other one for like 5 or 6 years and never faded or anything, but I mean, I did take care of it, but it was great. And so I think I'll have this one for years to come. And the only bad thing I had to say about the company is, unfortunately, but it was bought out by Best Top, which they make basically the same product. In my opinion, they don't look as clean and they're not as nice as Softopper. And so since they bought them out in 2020, they've had a lot of issues with customer service and getting orders and backtracking and stuff like that. But I think they finally, after 2 years, have kind of figured it out, and they're starting to do a little better on that. And so again, if you're even looking at this, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of like that. Let me tell you, if you go camping, if you're a fisherman, biking, out, anything outdoor, this is a nice alternative to either like a hard shell topper or a tonneau cover. The functionality of it, the durability, just everything you can use it for is just amazing. And so I would highly recommend it. A lot of guys actually go camping in the bed of their trucks, but there's just a lot of things you can do with this. So again, if you're an outdoorsman, look into it. Maybe this is for you. Again, if you don't like the look, that's fine. Someone out there maybe who's never seen this before, maybe will find this a little bit helpful.